Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. In this series, I'll be showing you 5 of my favorite features that HiveOS has and how I use them on an everyday basis to help me streamline my mining and make it more efficient. We're going to be going over how you can connect your Telegram or Discord into HiveOS. That way you can receive notification to whichever platform you choose in case something went wrong with your miner or if you made any changes. Another great feature to have is hash rate watchdog. It allows you to monitor the hash rate of each individual rig and set a different action to happen in case the hash rate goes below a certain threshold that you set. We're going to be going over the auto fan feature, which allows us to monitor the temperature of each individual card, and you can set an action to happen in case the card gets too hot. For example, you can have the miner reboot or you can just have it shut down. Another feature that I use is remote access. It allows me to control my miners from anywhere in the world. I can do different things like update the miner, reboot the miner, update the drivers, and a bunch of other different features. So HiveOS allows you to schedule different actions throughout the day. For example, at night, I mine with the different overclock settings than I do in the morning because nighttime is more efficient and is more cool to mine with. So the first thing we're gonna do at the home page is go to the farm. Then you go look at schedules. And these are the schedules that I have set for my workers. But just quickly, there's a few things you need to know so you're able to understand how to set a schedule. Let's go to worker 1, for example. This worker has 12 3080s with, right now they're not overclocked. But if you go to overclocking, for example, if I overclock them right now and I set the mem clock on all of them for 1000, I know that at 1000 mem clock, they run stable. So what I would do now is I would save this overclock setting for this specific rig. I will go to overclocking, I'll go to save as template, and I will name it something like this, 12. Actually, you don't need to put 12. We know they're all 3080s and they're all going to have the same overclock settings. So at least right now for a base overclock, right now they all run stable. Maybe I can tweak each card individually moving forward to improve the hash rate. But for now, we have a base overclock setting of 1000 mem. So what we're going to name it as is worker 1 3080 overclock. So we know that this template is for worker 1 with a 3080 overclock. We'll hit save. I'm not going to save it because I have mine saved already. So that's pretty much what overclocking is. I can go into more detail in another video, but once you have that template saved, you can use that template anywhere on any rig, on any worker, as long as the card is the same. The cards that you're using on both workers are the same. That way it's not going to crash. The other thing you need to know is the tags. You can add different tags to the worker. For example, up here, this is a small overview of what the tags are. These are generated by themselves. The 3080 tag, EVGA, because I have EVGA cards in there. I have Asus cards and Gigabyte cards. I added the tag worker 1. So for the tag worker 1, you can go into settings. You can add that tag. Let's say worker 5, right? Even though it's not, but you can select the color, yellow, add. It adds it. You don't forget to update the worker though. Once you hit update, it adds that tag to this worker, which you're gonna need when referencing the scheduling. The next thing you need to do is the flight sheets. Now for the flight sheets, this is just pretty much you're telling the worker what miner to use, what pool to use. You're telling the worker what wallet to add, and a few other things. Let's edit this one. So this one is mining the Ethereum coin on my wallet address. It's my crypto.com wallet address, which you can add on your settings over here. Let's go to home, go to wallets, and you can add your wallet in here. So the coin, Ethereum, enter the wallet, you name it whatever you want and whatever exchange it's on, and you just save that. And that's why it just comes up as just the wallet, because I have two different wallets. I have an Ethereum wallet on Coinbase and Ethereum wallet on crypto.com. And then you're defining what pool you're using. I'm using Hive pool, and I'm using T-Rex miner for the 3080s. Well, for this specific flight sheet, I'm using Ethereum coin with the crypto.com wallet on Hive pool with a T-Rex miner. Once you update that, or you can name it as well. The best way to name it is, or at least for me, is I'm putting Ethereum on Hive pool with T-Rex miner. The name itself kind of breaks down what this flight sheet is. We're going to cancel that, and then we're going to go back into an overview just to go over everything really quickly. You need to add a tag to your worker so you're able to identify it. Mine is worker 1. You need to edit your flight sheet. You need to have a preset flight sheet that you can apply when scheduling, and as well as overclock settings for that specific rig. So now that we have those 3 things ready, we are ready to go and edit our scheduling settings. So let's go to the home page. We go to the farm. You go to schedules. So in this case, let's look at worker 1. Worker 1 right now is all over the place. The temperatures are not where I would like them to be. So some of the cards are thermal throttling, and that's something that needs to be addressed. So for now, I'm going to just change everything back to 0 on the mem clock, so everything goes and be more stable. But let's go back to the scheduling. So let's add an event. You're going to select the worker, right? Worker 1. You're going to select it by choosing a tag that you preset to that worker. And then you're going to select the flight sheet that you're going to apply while you're creating this event that's being scheduled. So for example, I have Ethereum on Hive pool with the T-Rex miner, and then the overclocking template. This one, just for example, we're going to use base 3080 overclock. So for me, this is, like I said before, the base overclock for all of my 3080s. This is where they're overclocked and they run stable. So I'm going to select that, and I'm going to have it replace the existing overclock template that's already applied to that specific worker. If you go down here, you can have it start. Let's say right now it's 2:15 p.m. But if you select today at, let's say 14:30, which is 2:30. So in 15 minutes, this overclock is going to kick in, or this scheduled event is going to click in. And I'm going to have it on UTC. No, what is it? East. Where are we? So Eastern right here. So it matches with my time zone. And I'm going to have this overclock run every day at this specific time. So it's November for us, and sometimes it's not always cold, it's not always hot. During the night, it's obviously more cool. When it's more cool, the mining room is more cooled as well. So you don't have to deal with that much heat being in there. So the cards can be overclocked and they can perform better at night. So let's say tonight, I'm going to have this overclock setting at 10 p.m., which is 22. Yeah, which is 22. This overclock is going to run. And then you don't have to set an end. You can just, you can add one if you want. So if you want this overclock to end after running one time, you can do that. I just always leave it as never. And then you name this, event, which I'm going to name as overclock worker 1 to base 3080. So this is what the event is doing. That's pretty much what I'm putting on the name. It's going to overclock worker 1 to the base 3080 OC overclock. I guess overclock template you can write. You don't want to be too wordy. Whatever works for you. So I'm just gonna name that as overclock worker 1 to base 3080, and you hit create. This means that this tonight at 10 p.m., no matter where the cards are, what overclocks are on the cards, it's gonna replace the existing overclocking template with the new one that I'm adding, which is base overclock. So let's say I don't overclock my cards during the day because it's too hot outside and it causes a lot of thermal issues. And then at night it starts to cool down. So I have this schedule setting where at night I'm mining with these overclock settings. I already have this exact one actually added up here. So every day at 10 p.m. is going to set overclock. Is going to set worker 1 to night overclock, which is this this overclocking template with this flight sheet every day at 10 p.m. You can easily disable or enable it from here, or you can just edit that one. So at 10 p.m. I'm overclocked and mining, and then by 1 p.m. in the afternoon when it starts getting hot, right now I'm gonna set worker 1 to no overclock. So it's gonna set everything to the base 3080 no overclock, which is 100 fan speed, 0 on core, 0 on mem, and power level at 230. And then I have different custom ones for different workers. My worker number 3, this one has 8 3080s. I'm having it at night, same thing, set those overclocks, and then during the day remove the overclocks. And same thing for worker 2, set the overclock at night and remove it during the day when it's hot. This is a great way for me to manage how the overclocking is going to work for each specific mining rig. The reason I set this up is because right now I'm having issues with the AC in the mining room, because the AC, if the AC is running outside when the temperature is under 60 degrees, it freezes over and it's just not pushing any cool air. It's just pushing normal air, because the AC unit, the furnace, the fan is still running, but it's just pushing normal air. It's not being cold, and that actually causes issues to the house. So wherever those AC lines are running up our walls, it needs to thaw. So anything frozen is going to wet the walls, just going to create a mess. So right now I have no AC in that room, at least from the furnace. I have a portable AC to address some of the cooling issues in there. The one that I installed is a 7500 BTU AC. I did order a 1500 one. Hopefully should be coming soon, and I'm going to install that one and see if that helps. I opened up the window to pull some of the cold air in. It helps out, but I see it's more efficient to just suck the hot air outside of the house for now, until I'm able to fix the cooling issue with the AC. But this was just a quick overview of how I'm using the schedules, or the schedule feature that Hive OS has, which has been very helpful for us as far as managing our overclocks for the cards. You can do different things as well. You can add, you can have all of your 3080s right off the back. You don't even need to set a worker, actually. You can just have all the 3080s, use the same flight sheet, and have the base 3080 overclock replace all the all the individual 3080s, and it's going to replace whatever overclock is running with what we're setting it now. And then you can also choose a start date like I showed earlier, and how often you want it to run. So yeah, it's very useful. This is one of my favorite features that I'm using with HiveOS, and I know I got carried away explaining other things, but it was necessary to kind of keep this nice and clear for you guys. If you guys have questions, of course, always ask me in the comments, and I am more than happy to respond. We're going to move on to the next feature that I like that HiveOS has.